Welcome to episode number 9 of the Spiraling Podcast. I am your host, Jackson Wallace. I got my friend, my buddy, my pal, Jason Holland with me today. Jason, it's just the two of us again, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself, man?
You know, it's a Friday. It's a great day. Looking forward to the weekend. Should be a good time. I just got back from a wonderful time at the lake with my family for celebrating my mom's birthday, so that was really, really fun. So currently enjoyed myself.
Good. Always good to get away a little bit.
It's nice. It's nice to unplug, you know, because like sometimes, man, it's like, you know, we're go, especially setting up everything with the ministry and the foundation and all the stuff with the book, you know. Sometimes it's nice just to kind of unplug for a day or two.
Yeah, it is. So we're going to mix things up a little bit on this episode. And the previous episodes, we've been interviewing myself and others. Mm-hmm. So today it's going to be all about Jackson.
You hit me with this idea the other day, and I said, "Oh, okay, we sure can."
So we want to know about the voice behind Jackson.
Okay,
and you know who you are, how you got into this, and just why don't you start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, guys, for those of you guys who don't know me, we're 8 episodes in here, number 9 now. But my name is Jackson Wallace. So I am 26 years old. I graduated the University of Stephen F. Austin State University in 2015 with a bachelor's in criminal justice. I know, right? Why am I on a spiraling podcast when I got a criminal justice degree? The answer is kind of weird and funny, to be honest with you. I'm kind of, all over the place, to be honest. But anyways, graduated there. I worked with my parents a lot in small business. So my mother, she owned and operated a daycare for about, 20, 25 years or so, somewhere around there. And anyway, so I went to school there all the way through 2nd grade. We did curriculum as well. It was a private school. Excuse me. And so I went through there all the way through 2nd grade and eventually, summer camps and things like that. And eventually started working there out of high school. And then as high school kind of goes on, I take on a little bit more and more role. And then I worked there in the summers and like winter breaks that I would get from college. I'd come home and I'd have 2 weeks. Or I'd have a month at Christmas. So my mom, she would tell me, she's like, all right, you're coming home, you're going to work. Yes, ma'am. So we'd go in and I would work the breaks and really loved it, man. Fell in love with it. It was a good time. Really had a passion for kids and helping take care of kids. And I just kind of been around that environment my whole life, so I knew what to do immediately. And it became fun. So I've been in and around small business for forever. We recently sold the school. I took a larger role at the school as soon as I graduated and worked there for several years full time. And then we recently sold the school. And as soon as we sold it, my dad, Curtis, came to me and he said, hey, now that your mother is done with you, can I have you? And I said, sure, absolutely. And so for the last year, I've been working with him and his law firm. That's how I met Jason. Jason was one of our clients. We're helping him set up and get his book written and set up his organization. And so me and Curtis made a trip down to Houston one day on an August weekend, and here we are.
Yeah. So you explained a little bit about how you got involved with Spiraling Ministry and in the book. What really made you determine that this is kind of the path that you wanted to take, especially with your dad and with the role that we have here for Spiraling Ministry?
Well, I mean, I think it just kind of comes down to that weekend that came down to Houston. I mean, right away I love being in the room. There's just something about it. When decisions are being made and when we're forming something and growing something, it's always been a part of me that I really liked. I have a big background in, I had my own was very, very small, very limited. Gaming organization for a while. I ran it with, me and my buddies, and really big into esports. I know that I don't have a whole lot to do with ministry, but super big into that. And so I liked helping other people. That's just kind of in my nature. And so I would help through that gaming organization. I would help other people like form teams and go to competitions and play. And so whenever I was there in the room in Houston, I think you and me, we hit it off very quickly and very well. And I liked you as a person. I loved your story. Kristen, of course, is absolutely lovely. And it all just kind of made sense. And so it just kept working and working with you, because I take a very big approach to like working with all of our clients. Like I try and take a personal touch to it. I try and make sure, anything that we're doing with the law firm, that I put my best foot forward. And so by doing that allowed me to kind of get to know you a little bit more. And so then you approached me with, hey, this is some other stuff that we want to do. Do you want to come on? And it just kind of made sense to me. I said, yeah, absolutely. I love the mission. I love what we're trying to do. And I mean, at my roots, I like helping other people. So, I mean, that's kind of what we're all about. So
is that kind of what you can say that draws you to the nonprofit and being in the nonprofit world now?
Yeah, for sure. I, helping out other people in any way I can. I'm not very familiar with, this world of nonprofit is still new to me, and it's still, especially with stuff that we're trying to do, wrapping my head around and helping out people with these problems that we're trying to do, addiction, mental health, that kind of thing is new to me. I hadn't really been around that a whole lot. And so it was just kind of like this unexplored pioneer territory type of thing. And I know that and I know it's not unexplored in terms of like, the vast world or anything. But for me, I hadn't really been exposed to that a whole lot. So it was kind of fascinating.
Yeah, so I guess kind of answered this question, but did you have any experience with someone with mental health, addiction, or cancer in your life, whether it be a friend or
cancer,
family member or anything like that?
Cancer, yes. My grandfather had prostate cancer. My grandfather, man, I'm telling you what, this guy's one of the toughest guys the toughest guy I've ever met. He's had prostate cancer. He's had a stroke. He's had, I think, both kneecaps, knee surgery. He's got a glass eye. He just keeps on going and smiling and going about his day. So shout out to Papa Charlie, man. I love that guy. Incredible dude. But yeah, so he had cancer. I think on my dad's side, I think one of our, great uncles had it or something. Cancer a little bit, not a whole lot with addiction or alcoholism. Mm-hmm. I think maybe in the outer reaches of the family, maybe some here and there. Some extended family, some stuff with some alcoholism for sure, but never really directly, someone that I had a really, really, really good relationship with, other than cancer.
Yeah. So, hearing the stories that we talk about, and especially when we had Harold on, and Harold talking about the different addiction and how that affects people. Tell us a little bit about how you feel about the path moving forward with the ministry.
I mean, I think we have our sights aimed pretty high, and I mean I think we're trying to help as many people as possible, which is a great thing. I really enjoy talking to Harold. I really enjoy talking to Kristen And I know we're going to have a couple more podcasts with some other guests as well, and I'm really looking forward to talking to them, hearing their stories and their perspectives. It's kind of humbling. I really, it's been impactful. It has. I mean, to hear some of these stories, battling with addiction, to hear your story, kind of the ups and downs in your life, and you're still able to make you're still a young, successful businessman, and Harold seems like a great guy, and he's successful in his own right as well. So I think it just kind of shows that no matter, your background, no matter what problems that you have gone through, you could definitely make it out from the other side, and you can make life what you decide to make it. It's up to you, So that's been very inspiring. As far as the stuff that we're trying to do with the nonprofit, I feel like there's a lot of stories out there kind of yet to be told. There's some stories that some people haven't gotten to share. And so I look forward to hearing those and hopefully we can kind of build out a little bit of a platform to where they can share their stories. And maybe that ends up putting some good karma, some good juju out in the world. And, we could spread some love and cheer out there, man. Positivity is always a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, good. So I wanted to ask you, how much have you read of the book, and has that inspired you to really dive in and try to help others?
Yeah. So with the book, I've probably read about. I remember you sent me an early copy. It wasn't all the way completed yet. It kind of had some chapters here and there. It was kind of out of order, but I've probably read, I don't know, 8 chapters or so far. It was one of those things where I really couldn't put it down. I've liked reading before. I'm a huge fan of the Harry Potter books. That is my thing, right? I know it's reading, right? It's not the same as, battling addiction and things like that, but it is. And, it was kind of a similar feeling to where I had when I first started reading those books when I was, a young little whippersnapper. I just found myself, sitting down in a chair, had a beverage next to me and just kept on reading. It was good. I think it also kind of hits different because I know you, and I mean, I don't know you super, super well, but I knew you and got to form somewhat of a relationship, and knowledge about you before I opened the book. And so I think because I'm reading it about somebody that I know personally, that it hits different too. So it takes on kind of a different tone. As far as it wants me inspiring me to help other people, I've already kind of had that, but I think it just kind of adds bricks to that foundation that I had built, a while ago, and just gives me even more reason to want to reach out. It's kind of a validation, if you will, that we're doing the right thing, and the things that we're trying to do, they matter. And any kind of positivity and love that we can spread out in the world, even if it comes through a story of our own problems or our own demons, I think it can only end up helping people out and being good.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of good things going on, and I'm very appreciative that you're on board with the team and that you're doing all that you're doing. We've got some pretty awesome things coming up, and
absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, do you want to go into a couple of those things that we have coming up? Let's
do it, man. Let's do it. Yeah. I'm ready. We've been working a lot behind the scenes, and it's been fun. We've had quite the to-do list, but I think it's all getting ready to pay off here.
Yeah, and the one thing that is really holding us back right now is this COVID-19 lockdown, and if that were to get lifted tomorrow, things would really ramp up quickly. But we're kind of waiting on that stuff to be lifted, so that way I can get the message out even more.
Yeah, and we got to be careful with that, right? Because I mean, especially with you with your immune system, last thing we want you to do is get sick. So we got to be super cognizant and careful of that.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to tell us about yourself?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. So anyway, I guess I'll kind of continue with my story. Worked in small business for forever. Have been pretty much my whole life. I am a huge, like I just said, Harry Potter fan. I probably listen to the books at least once a year. I'm a big fan of listening to the books, Jason. I don't know what it is about it. Something about Jim Dale's voice just serenades me. It's just beautiful. As I'm driving down and running my errands or whatever, I can just pop on Goblet of Fire. I finished that yesterday. Listen to it. Okay, the graveyard scene was incredible. Just kind of, I mean, I'm a nerd, man. I am. I'm a nerd through and through. Harry Potter, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, that type of thing. Big fan of that. I'm a big time gamer as well. Gaming is actually kind of the reason why I started gaming a whole lot. I mean, I gamed like when I was a kid, right? Like, like Super Nintendo, right? I had the Lion King game where I can jump up and collect coins throughout each level, that type of thing, right? But in high school, I was a football player, middle school and high school. And in high school, my junior year, heading into my junior year, I was competing for a varsity spot, and probably wasn't going to start my junior year, but was probably going to be a backup on varsity and maybe get some playing time. So I'm competing for a spot. And during spring training, spring camp, I get rushed by two guys, and they're big guys, right? Big guys, and they're pushing me, and I got one on each arm. Right, and I'm doing okay. I mean, they're pushing me back, but we're gonna get the ball. The ball's gonna come out. Okay, so we're fine. But there's a little divot in the ground, and I step inside that divot, and one guy pushed me this way, and one guy pushed me that way, and I twisted my knee, and tore my meniscus right then and there, and was injured and missed the rest of spring camp. Heading into the summer, we had ups and downs with a couple of different doctors. One person thought it was nothing, but I was in a lot of pains. And then the doctor thought it was, this could be something. Let's get an MRI, blah, blah, blah. One thing led to another. Eventually, I'm on crutches in summer camp and missed all of that. And, of course, missed out on my varsity spot. And while I'm doing that, through my summer recovering, through spring training, I can't really go anywhere. Right, I can't move a whole lot with my arms, so I do what any high school guy would do that can't really move. I play some Madden, or I play some sports games here and there, and so like my kind of love for gaming really took off over that summer where I couldn't really do much except kind of sit on the couch and crutch my way to the restroom or wherever it is we were going. So that's where it kind of took off, and I really, really have enjoyed my gaming. It's become even more of a hobby because it's allowed me to keep that interaction, that social interaction with some of my different friends. I have one buddy, his name is Jory, and he's actually a cop in Wyoming now, but he was in the military at the time, and he had gone to basic training and came back, but he had been in a different state, and I wasn't able to see him every day. And so, but we had this common love for for gaming, and so we would get on, and that allowed me to keep that social interaction with him. It strengthened my relationship with my brother. He was a big time gamer as well, and so whenever I was gone to college, and he was at home, we could still play together and hang out. So that's a big part of my life. Big time nerd, of course, and I working, man. just been working, grinding the pavement. So. That's a little bit about me.
Good.
Also a big football guy, huge sports guy.
Yeah, you want to tell our listeners about your other podcast?
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, guys, so if you would like to and join me in a different world other than spiraling, I do host another podcast. It's called the Go for Two podcast. It's actually a guy I met through gaming. His name's Lucas. Great guy. Love this dude. He's from Tennessee. and he's just hilarious. He's actually had quite an impact on our family. He says a lot of different things. For example, he says this thing called, he says that when he was at lunch, there was, there's like different types of tables, right? Everybody in the high school lunch, right? You got the jocks over here, the cheerleaders are over there. You got, then you have for over here, the smart kids, the nerds, and then you would have the what he called the bi gods. And these were like the down home country guys, right? And he would call them bi gods because they would say, well, we're like, what you gonna do this weekend? Well, I'll tell you what, by God, I'm gonna jump right in that creek and just go fishing or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they would just say some stuff like that. So now our whole family says it. Anyway, but Lucas, anyway, our other podcast is called the Go for Two Podcast. Do it with Lucas. And Lucas, we talk about football. Specifically the NFL, and so we kind of take a deep dive into, like, this past week we talked about the week 1 schedule and how it and we did our predictions for win and loss over there. We also talked about different storylines that could be from week 1. Example, Brady versus Breeze, game 1, Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. We did our NFL draft recap. We did our draft preview. We did all of that, and so we do it kind of all year round, and it's been an absolute joy. So I'll put that link down in the description, but it's been incredibly fun.
Cool.
I know I kind of went off on a tangent with there with the whole by God's thing, but hey.
Oh, you're good, man. Well, thank you for telling us about yourself. It helps me and the listeners know who we're talking to every day.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
I think I'm about gonna wrap it up for the day. And if you have anything else you want to share, go ahead.
Okay. Guys, thanks so much for jumping in and listening. And appreciate story time with Jackson here. I know I kind of went off on a couple different tangents there. I get a little bit excited when I start talking about my friends and other stuff going on. But guys, the support for the podcast has been incredible so far. Please do not forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment. Let us know how we're doing. We'll be happy to read some of those comments for you here on the podcast. You can find us really where all podcasts can be heard. We're on Anchor, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all of that. We also post a podcast every single week on our website, www.spiralingministries.org. Again, that's spiralingministries.org. Be sure to check it out. It's live, it's published, it's all out there. We're putting out content on there and really trying to drive home this mission for Spiraling. So if you guys could join us on that, that would be absolutely amazing.